Hey, Ron here, and today I'd like to talk about the YouTube walkout that just ended. I'd like to talk about my experiences with the YouTube walkout and some, let's say complaints. They don't quite rise to the level of criticism, so we'll call them complaints. I was first informed about the walkout when Javi, that's the YouTube user Leftist Loudmouth. You can view his stuff here. Go support him. He's good people. Javi approached me on Twitter, sent me a DM, and he said, and I'm going to paraphrase here because I don't have. Well, I guess I do. I'm going to paraphrase for the sake of privacy. He said that this COPA stuff was way too far, that he was tired of being treated like crap by the system, and that he felt like people needed to make a stand against it. A stand that was more than just ineffectual whining. And he thought that maybe we could have a strike, that people who make content could have a strike. That would maybe affect YouTube's bottom line. I was all for it. I'm always going to participate in collective action, especially leftist collective action. Because, even if I disagree with something, the only way that a collective action is going to be successful is if people participate in that collective action. If they don't, then it's definitely going to fail. So, also, what tipped my hand a bit is that I knew that I was going to be away from home, away from my computer, Leviathan. I had my phone. I was staying with friends. I was helping them take care of their baby, something which is very time-consuming. I made some videos while I was over there. I made a video talking about why I was participating in the walkout, but I had to upload it on my phone, and that was very difficult. Just to figure out how to do, not just... Things are so much easier to do on computers. Not the point. Anyway, I'm always going to participate in collective action, because that's the only way collective action is successful. And because I wasn't on YouTube, I spent a lot of time on Twitter. And while I was on Twitter, I saw some complaints about things. They didn't quite rise to the level of criticisms, or at least they don't. The first one, at least, doesn't count as a criticism anymore because it got fixed. Well, let's go into that. The first thing that I was made aware of, the first complaint that I was made aware of, was that the walkout would incidentally coincide with the UK general election, and that would hurt people who needed the views from covering the UK general election. That wasn't on purpose. That was, again, I could actually pull up but I won't. Javi said that Javi told me that the reason he wanted to start on the 10th was because the new YouTube terms of service took effect on the 10th. Which I thought that was ingenious. I thought it was a good idea. It was just unfortunate timing that the UK election was happening at the same time. And even then, they worked it out. They had two different periods. They had a separate period specifically for people who needed to cover the UK election. So that got fixed because these sort of things are flexible. That's part of what makes them work. The second thing that I would describe as a complaint is that people weren't made aware enough of the walkout, and it wasn't advertised, I guess is the word I would use. And that's almost fair, but, I think ThoughtSlang put it best. Are you gonna walk through a picket line at Walmart because it's inconvenient for you not to do so? And if you are, then what kind of person does that make you? And, what we were asking people to do doesn't even rise to the level of needing to go to Walmart for something. We're asking you not to go to YouTube for between 3 and 7 days. What else? there was one thing that I thought was a little bit substantial, and that was that the goals and reasons for the strike were a bit muddled. And they were a bit muddled in that, like, there was a mission statement. There was always a mission statement. I was made aware of that right away. But I don't think necessarily the public was. And I think everyone kind of knows that YouTube treats creators like shit. I think I think most people who regularly watch YouTube are aware of that because everyone talks about it. So it would follow from that we would want the people at Google to stop treating us so much like shit. Even if that complaint is the most substantive one, it's still disingenuous, is what I'm saying. I feel like people didn't want to participate because... Oh, there's another one too. There was an allegation that the Walkout would harm smaller subscribers, like me. And speaking in my capacity as someone with less than 2,000 views, I can tell you that that's absolutely bullshit. I've never gotten a fucking penny from Google. I've never made a dime from the place where I post my videos for putting my videos there. Any money that I've gotten has been from people who generously donate to my Ko-Fi. I use the word donate. They're giving me money. And I'm very grateful for that. I wouldn't have been able to go to my grandfather's funeral if it wasn't for the people giving me money on Ko-Fi. But I feel like people didn't want to participate in the thing because it would be inconvenient. And that makes me a little sad. I know I said this earlier, but any sort of collective action requires on people acting collectively. It requires on people participating. And if you're not participating in the thing, then you're kind of hurting it. I'm not gonna go on a tangent about fucking scabs or people who are being shitty, but that's the thing that I want to emphasize, is the importance of collective action in collective action. And also, like, these things don't just happen all at once. People are already talking about making a series of strikes and walkouts. And I want to make perfectly clear that I'm probably going to participate in that too. Like I said, I almost always participate in collective action. But, yeah, like, look at the Earth Strike movement, for example. That started off as almost nothing. And it grew into a something. It brought a lot of attention to how angry people were about the environment. And how they were getting fucked. And that was the point of the thing. Collective action is about collectivizing. It's about working together. And if you're not willing to work together, then I don't know what to tell you. Do you think you're gonna fix these things yourself? You're welcome to try, I guess. I don't know. I got off topic. Fucking sinuses. Very gentle reminder, I do have a Ko-Fi in the description of the video. If you have any money to spare, it will be very helpful. Don't feel obligated to give me any money. This is a labor of love. I'm making videos because I care about these topics, not because I make money off of them. But anything that you have to give would be very helpful to me, especially right now. Things are desperately bad in Ronsville at the moment. I also have links to my Curious Cat account if you want to ask me a bunch of anonymous questions, and my Twitter account if you want to interact with me there. Yesterday, after the video I made about the UK elections, someone sent me a bunch of really wonky political questions that I think were supposed to be loaded questions, and I answered them as best as I could. I don't like loaded questions. It's bullshit. I guess that's everything I have to say. I'm all said out. So, until we get there, take care of yourselves, alright?